right, so we're back on YouTube, everybody. So share my screen. We're going to the general fund or
All right, so what did we leave off? We left off general fund, utility fund,
general park, utility.
sanitation. Let's go to sanitation.
Parks and Recreation.
All right, we're in sanitation. So,
Okay, go ahead, Dominique.
so for background, the $24 that we charge to our citizens for garbage pickup is routed to this fund. Okay, so this number here is based on our 12-month average number of garbage users. This number is generated from our water billing software. So that's what that's based on. Franchise fees, we get this like waste management, which I'm assuming Horton Waste Services probably should be paying a franchise fee.
Probably so. Probably so.
All right. So, and then state grants, when we do
Wait. Why Horton?
Horton Waste Services.
They have they do those big roll-offs, don't they? And dumpsters.
Right.
Why would he be paying a franchise fee and the people we have a garbage contract not be paying one?
Because they have the garbage contract with us, they're exempted from the franchise fee.
Okay.
But if you're serving commercial customers in the city, you're supposed to pay a franchise fee to the city.
Okay.
Based on an old ordinance, but I can.
Do we have a list of people that pay that?
It's really just waste management, and Michelle, if you could look that up. I know waste management is consistent.
So people like C-Spire and Sparklight don't fall into that.
They go in. That's in the general fund.
In the general fund. Okay.
Yeah,
Good.
we'll go.
Energy, Delta Electric. Yeah, that's general fund.
Okay.
Dominique, what is okay, so they're charging us $20 a customer. I see it now. So they're charging us $20 a customer, and we're charging $24.
Right, and if you notice, our average number of garbage users is less than our contracted customer count.
What is our? I remember when we were dealing with Steve Horton when he was doing it, they would adjust their customer numbers. Are we locked into that 3887?
Now, we have a clause in our contract that allows us to discuss that number, negotiate that number, and also potentially do a customer count. Now, if you remember, we did a customer count 4 years ago, and we had decided that we wanted to keep the number we had. There was a reason why we kept the number we had. I don't know if it was because it came with a lot more customers. I can't remember, but we decided that 3887 has been around even before I got here.
It was to our benefit, if I remember correctly.
Right.
Waste Management and Republic Service are the two that are paying a franchise fee in sanitation.
All right, so here y'all see this 25,000. When we have Earth Day in April each year, that is supported by a state grant from MDEQ, and so there's that $25,000 proceeds there. I believe we have applied for the 2022 grant to date, and then it costs us. It's a wash pretty much. The 25, it's 100% grant. There's one employee in the sanitation department. I believe this is our warehouse employee that helps with recycling and different things. And again, here, you notice we're going up a little bit, obviously, because we're going to pay a little bit more per customer.
We're getting the
Right.
trash cans though, aren't we?
Yes, sir. They'll start delivering them next
Yeah.
month. Next month, you'll see those blue trash cans start to pop up. So thoughts, questions?
Well, I think I think we need to go up on our garbage fees a little bit. I mean, we can't operate this fund at a deficit, and we got a $184,000 deficit. But to eliminate that $184,000 deficit, if we keep the same number of customers, I think it's going to take about $4 a month more. Only thing that concerns me about that's a 20% increase.
Did two.
Hey, Gary,
Yes, sir.
can you hear me? All right.
Yes, sir.
I was about to say, since you mentioned that, and we do, I know everything's gonna have a cost factor to it, and we're gonna have to go up. Waste Pro just didn't do us any justice. I mean, our customers are so dissatisfied right now, and to see them take on anything, even though we get a new company to come in, and that's gonna be a really, really challenge for, the customer. So I'm hoping that Arrowhead comes in and understand that we're in a bad situation right now, because they haven't been getting any service.
When was the last time we had a price increase? Or when we increased the cost to the taxpayer, citizens?
I know it hasn't increased in 7 budget years. Since I've been here, it's always been 24. I have to look back. Let me ask Mary. I could text Marilyn and see. She would know. I can let
Gary,
y'all
I
know.
think, Gary, I
Well-
think we have to go up to $4.
I do too. And then we're gonna
I
get
don't
the
like
trash
it.
cans.
Yeah, that kind of
Yeah.
softens the blow a little with the trash cans, which
It
ought
does.
to keep the
And-
town a lot cleaner.
And the
Yeah.
new company coming in, I think they'll understand the difference.
It'll take a month or two, but yes.
Yeah.
I totally agree. And as you said, Mayor, we have a lot to bring to the table with this new company, and I think the customer are really satisfied with what we got.
I think we
Dominic,
go up $4.
let's make that price increase effective in October.
So you want to put it on, okay, so it'd be the November payment. FYI, everybody. The November bill due November 10th would have the increase.
Yeah, because it's going to be, that because your new company starts in October,
Yeah.
and it'll look a lot better from our perspective with it starting then. You hate to start now when our service is still so poor.
Right.
I have a question.
That's right. That's right.
Ms. Wentz,
I have a question. Do we need to do a public notice or inform our customers that we're gonna go up?
We will. We typically
we do.
We typically do an ad in the paper. And we have ran it multiple times in the past.
Yes.
So yes, ma'am. And if we end up going up on water, we pretty much do it all at the same time.
All right, great.
Yes, ma'am. Great question. Make sure I'm
Zena, thank you for that, because so many of our customers on fixed income, and they just want to have that notification given. That's,
Yeah, and then we just let them know when they will start to see the change.
Is this, Mayor, is this gonna be a change in the garbage collection fees?
yes, it'll be the $4
Yeah.
added to the 24 that we pay now. Is that right, Dominique?
Yes, sir. To go from 24 to 28. So the quickest we could publish an ad, this budget will be approved. Our second meeting in September, as it stands, we stated Tuesdays, it's September 14th. So we'll be getting the ad out as quick as the following Wednesday, and we'll just run it pretty much a few times during September and October.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Yes.
All right, Dominic, what does the bottom look like now? Okay, the reason I asked that question is because we also use this fund to help support the animal shelter. And the animal shelter, what was our deficit there?
Let's see, I think it's 100.
This is where I said we were gonna come back to this. See, we're still, even with the county giving us an extra little bit of money, we're still gonna operate at $145,000 deficit. I mean, I don't think we can stand to transfer that much to it. Phew, Lord.
That's what a 125,
No, I'm talking about the 100,000 that comes from the sanitation fund.
right?
You know, that's how we, in the past, since we considered
Cover it.
animal shelter as part of sanitation, that's how we justified using some of this money. But it's just the cost of maintaining that shelter has gone up so much over the years.
Well, with the new one, it'll be that much more too, Gary.
Well, she's got that additional cost factored in there.
Right.
But right now, Mayor, we're looking at a situation that we could potentially come up $150,000 short this year.
Yeah. It's 248,018 is what the deficit was.
Okay.
You could knock some of this down from the general fund and, allot it there to the animal shelter.
Yeah, well, I mean, the general fund is just because all of the administration that has to come out of City Hall.
Yep.
I mean, if we put 200,000 there, then the sanitation, let's go back and look at the sanitation fund now.
Okay, that's where we are. So if you move that,
Nah.
you flip flop them.
Well, when we get to the general fund, then we'll have to address that.
Yeah.
If you move that there, you see what it looks like. I mean, that puts us there.
Yeah, and we could probably, the only problem is we can't budget a deficit.
We cannot.
Yeah, so, we've got to, the crazy part about it is, as a rule, when we get to the end of the year, we always operate within our budget and generally below our budget.
Yes, sir.
If you look at the projection for 2020, we're going to probably come under budget across the board. So is there anything we can cut?
And the animal shelter?
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, it's pretty lean. I mean, most of it, of course, is salaries. One change we made, I guess it was 2 budget years, was we moved the ACO salaries into the animal shelter, took it out of the police department budget, meaning
Yeah.
we took it out of the general fund.
Right.
So that,
Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah.
go ahead.
Well, if you're short 3 or 4 officers in the police department, we're already budgeted for those salaries. Can we not transfer those back to the police department?
We could. I mean, we could. We had them there for years. I think at the time when we did that, we were trying to relieve some pressure off the police department budget.
Right.
We're trying to relieve pressure off the general fund, Brian.
Yeah.
And we're gonna hire those officers back.
Yeah.
Oh, we have to.
Plus,
All right.
plus more. Yeah.
Let me go to the bottom. I want to see what the projection looks like compared to the budget. So if you took that $1.3 million out of there, under the 21 budget. So if we still would have spent,
Come off the construction contract.
yeah, see, if you didn't have that in there, we still spent a ton of money more. Where are we spending all that money?
Well, we don't recoup it in revenue. So, I mean, most of that is salaries. That's 214,000 right there.
Okay.
How many
The
employees
rest
you
of the
gonna have?
budget is
No, I'm talking about what we budgeted versus what we really spent in that fund. If you take the 342 out of the 683 in your 21 column, 21 projected column, Dominique,
okay.
so your 683, 795.
All right. Gotcha.
So we spent $341,000 versus 331 that we budgeted. Right? Because you take the 1.3 million out of the 21 budget, it goes down to 331,000. So we're actually only $11,000 over our budget if you compare it apples to apples. So this year we're going from 331 up to the difference in 1428 and $1,069,000.
359.
So we're not going up, but $28,000. That's what I was trying to figure out.
18.
Thank you.
Yeah, and that's without any raises.
Right. Okay. All right. So even adding $100,000 to that budget, we still come out short. Okay. You got to make that transfer. You got to increase it 150. All right. We'll leave it at that. Well, because we cannot budget a deficit. Then when we get to the general fund, we'll have to figure out how to make it work.
Okay.
Well, so now what does sanitation look like? So sanitation stayed the same. If you just took if you just took 100,000 out of the general fund, we still got a positive balance there, and at least we got 100 going to the general fund.
I'll forget it.
Okay.
All right.
Okay, that cleans up sanitation.
Are we good there?
Yes, ma'am. Your schedules are so colorful.
I don't want to forget it. Let's see. All right. So where to next? We've got general, park, and sewer.
Okay, then now let's go to sewer utility.
Oh man.
You didn't want to do that one, huh?
No. I'd rather do park first.
All right, this fund gets real interesting this year for a lot of reasons, but one of which is I'm not really sure how this works out. I tried to figure it out, but we got more SRF money coming out of our available funds.
Yeah. Well,
But-
and we'll get it back. I mean, we've got $1,016,000
Yeah.
coming back, but yeah.
Yeah,
So
but
with this, go ahead.
it comes out of our sales tax revenue though, so
Yeah, but it won't hit yet until we sign the loan agreement and all that. So we got a few years.
okay.
maybe not a few, but a year or two.
Okay, so I guess my first question is, have we had a full year now of what we call reasonable collections?
Yes, for the meters that have been installed, yes.
So we're reasonably close to where we should be in terms of collecting our revenues on water and sewer. Okay. All right, so let's come down and look at this fund. Let's see what it looks like.
Oh, shucks. It's coming down to the bottom. So we have, we're in the black for the first time. Wow.
Wow.
Okay,
Sure, it's not a mistake.
Well, Danny, we finally collecting our revenue. That's why
I
I
know.
asked that
That's how
question.
much we
I
All
reflect.
right,
know.
so Dominic, what I want to do right here for sure is this. Go to the, find the line that has transferred to the general fund.
Right here.
No, that's the sewer rehab notes.
Well, we transferred to the general fund.
I know, that's your SRF money. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the admin. fee.
Oh, your administrative?
That's on
Yeah,
8 people.
right here.
Yeah, increase that admin fee by 100,000. Because we just clipped the general fund for 100,000 out of sanitation.
Right.
Don't forget, you're gonna combine the loss from the general obligation utility fund with this account.
It's true.
Say that again, Michelle.
You're gonna combine the loss from the general obligation utility fund with this fund.
Remember, we're over budget here. This is not right here. This isn't right. I've got to look at that. But we're over budget, remember, by 200,000 to 300,000 of this $2 million bond or water meter project. So once we close it out, we're going to close it out to the sewer fund.
It'll be a loss that you combine into the sewer utility fund.
Well, we're going to deal with that in the bonds.
Okay.
We can't have our utility fund cover that one.
Okay.
Okay, so now our utility fund is positive. Okay, were there any, I'm trying to remember, I can't find my notes right now. Well, here they are. Okay, at the end of this sewer utility fund, Dominique, I want, for the benefit of the other board members, I've had the opportunity to review some of this with you. Go over the additions to this fund that's caused by us taking over Infomart.
So this fund is made up water and sewer fees. Obviously, this is where our water bill money comes, right? So we've got a new department now. We're going to get rid of this department, sewer maintenance. If you notice, we've zeroed it out. And we've created this new department. It was formerly the treatment plant department. Now we're just going to call it the wastewater department. Okay. So with that, this is the amount of salaries. So we're looking at about 617,000 just for salaries. That includes 9 employees. Michelle, check me on that. I think that's 9 employees.
That's correct. I counted them yesterday.
Okay, 9 employees. That'd be 1 more than that department has now. Currently is Infomart. So this stays around. We had that in last year's budget, but this is for our sewer treatment plant, our phase 2 of the water treatment improvement project. This year, however, we now are going to be responsible for fixing every little thing, right? So we're going to be responsible every time we call Robinson Electric out, every time we call somebody out to look at this, that, the third, we're covering it. So with that being said, this budget has increased tremendously, right?
Yeah, but that number right there, Dominique, is way more than Infomark spent.
Nowhere close.
Yeah.
I mean, because when I looked at their budget, they didn't spend a fraction close to $300,000.
But how much of that was neglect too? How much
Oh,
we
wow.
have to do to catch up?
Well, I mean, I like the way they've done the budget. She didn't put any fluff in it. She's stretching this budget to where we should be better off than what this budget looks like.
We should, I hope. We won't know until, I mean, the good thing is that the past few years we have, like this budget here, technically we had it in last year's budget here, and we're projected to spend 175,000 anyway. So we've been covering some of those expenses. Anytime we've got to repair a pump, replace parts on a pump, those are $30,000 inputs. These are not cheap fixes. But we're hoping with just more forward thinking and us moving forward, we're going to fix and replace a lot of this stuff. So we're hoping that the maintenance costs will potentially decrease or level out.
All right. Can I go back to payroll for a second?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so does those payroll numbers include what the mayor's committee's proposal is?
For the 2 new hires?
Yes.
Yes.
And what about the contractual services?
The contractual services is not in here yet.
Oh.
But you guys have talked about 75, I thought.
70 is what I think we told
Yeah.
him.
It was.
So you
When
guys,
do we, I have a question. When do we make that decision on the amount?
We have not.
Okay.
on which amount?
The contractual services?
Yes.
Oh, no, we're planning to talk about it today.
Yeah, we'll vote
All right.
today.
This is a proposal, Zena.
Okay.
Now you guys have hired the first 2 positions.
Well, we hadn't approved it. The board has not approved it.
The board approved it last
They
Tuesday.
approved the hires.
Oh, it was on there?
Yes.
Oh, God, I missed that one. I'm sorry.
And it was 10 employees. I'm sorry, Dominique. It was, I had counted the employees that were in the department under the director. So counting the director, it's 10.
It's 10. Okay, good.
Yes. Mhm.
We're gonna have some software costs. Obviously, we're gonna try to implement a work order software that several of our departments already use iWork, so we just want to add a module just for water and sewer. It would help with preventative maintenance, entering work orders, all of that. I would like to maybe move forward with that before October, getting that software on board.
Well, we should have room in the budget for you to go on and do that.
Go ahead and do it. Okay, I'll present it probably.
Just do a budget amendment at our next meeting.
Because we hope to have the director, we told them September 1st, but we're probably going to have them start the week after next, the assistant director and director.
Good.
Y'all have any questions? I've got some vehicle costs in there. I'm going to propose to Infomark to purchase their fleet, with it being such a tough time to buy cars right now. So I don't know what they'll say, but y'all thoughts? That 50,000 would obviously be down payments and leasing. That does not
Yeah.
include
In the
buying.
meantime, Dominique, do we have any other options? If they say no?
If they say no, we would have to purchase our own vehicles.
We'd be leasing them at that figure though.
I understand, but I was just saying, if they decide to say no, what's our next option?
To purchase vehicles.
Okay, have we looked into that, purchasing or leasing?
We have quotes from Canon.
Right.
We got those. Yeah, you had those when we presented for the,
Right.
the whole thing earlier, last month maybe.
Right, in the transition, I think I put those quotes in
Yeah,
the
it was in
transition
there.
file.
All
But,
right, I'll go back and look.
But I want to go back and look at state contracts and see. I mean, those were some pretty good sized trucks, but maybe go back. They have some of those like what is it, the Chevy Colorados? That's what some of them drive now, and some of the smaller minivans. So I need to fire off an email today to Infomart just so I can get, just so they'll tell me yes or no, so we can be
Yeah, when I talked to that administrator in Florida, they sold them all their vehicles.
And would you guys want to purchase the tractor?
What is it?
Well, I guess it was last year, or the year before last, we signed on an extension with Infomart. And part of that extension was basically a payback to them for the tractor. So it's a pretty brand new tractor that they used to cut out.
The grass at the treatment plant?
Let me say something.
Wait a minute.
If they give us a good deal, yes. If they don't, both John Deere and these other places are offering interest-free purchase of that equipment right now.
Can they get them here?
Can they get them here?
Yes.
I don't know why not.
That's been the issue with some of our equipment. We're getting crazy lead times. I mean,
Gary, I have a question. Wasn't there an item? Wasn't there a tractor that they actually loaned? See, this is confusing. I thought they made us the loan to pay back that tractor and we owned it. That's incorrect.
And I agree, Danny.
That's not what happened. When they loaned us the money, interest free, to buy that tractor belongs to us, Dominique.
but we didn't buy it though. Like they bought.
Yeah, but
go
I
back.
agree with Danny. That's the way it was presented to us.
Yeah, we need to talk to Keith. Keith brought it to us and said, we'll purchase it, and y'all pay us on a monthly basis, interest free, and assures at the end of a certain period of time.
But I guess that's the thing though. I mean, we're years away from it potentially being ours in terms of ownership. Right? Because we got
It should be
that
some
money.
sort of rent schedule.
Okay, you're saying buy out the
Buy it out.
due.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Well, I think we need to look. Okay, I understand that. What length of term was the payout?
I gotta look at that agreement. I can pull it up.
It shouldn't be longer than 4 or 5 years. 3, 4, or 5 years.
It's probably less.
Yeah. And when did we do it? What year did we do it?
It was last year or the year
Last
before
year.
last. It was recently.
I think it's 2019.
All right. I can let me find that. I get that to y'all. But we're gonna find out from Infomart today what they
Just find out what that balance is on that loan. That's what we need to find out.
I'm thinking that was proposed, and then I'm thinking they decided to go on and just buy the tractor. I don't know why I'm thinking that.
and that's why we're paying them back.
Okay.
Got to be written down somewhere.
Yeah, we have it. It's just
Okay.
gotta pull it. All right. Do y'all have any other questions about?
No, but I think before we move on to this fund, that we need to address Zena's question.
About the vehicles?
No,
Or
about
the contract.
about the contract.
Do y'all want to go into executive session?
If we're gonna do it now, or we can wait, and we can wait this whenever I don't care. If we want to keep going, I would say let's keep going, and we'll come
Are
back.
we gonna meet in person this afternoon, or is it Zoom all day?
And we're gonna keep zooming, I think,
I
Mayor.
thought so too.
We could y'all could maybe discuss the contractor when y'all discuss payroll. That way
Okay.
it'll all be
That's-
executive.
Great idea.
That's fine.
Okay, I'm all right with this fund now. Let's move on to the big mama.
right. Hold on, let me put this out. That was much better than I thought it would be. And again, if we go back to the top, this is proposing no increase in water rate.
That's at this point. Now we're going to have to come back and address that when when all these other SRFs come along. For Zena and Brian, SRF is a state loaning fund that we borrow from to do water and sewer improvements, and it's paid back. They reduce our sales tax revenue to make the monthly payments. That's why we reimburse the general fund, because it comes out of our general fund sales tax.
Okay.
It's right here.
Yeah, and if you, at some point when we get over to the general fund, we'll get Dominique to show you what our sales tax revenue looks like, and you can see how that money gets deducted.
All right.
Okay, so let's don't forget on these tax revenues that we're going to get Will Hooker, if you want to make yourself a note,
Yeah.
to kind of maybe give us some understanding of why this personalty tax has gone up so much.
I made a note, Dominique.
Yeah, thank you. All right, you want to do general or park first?
Let's do the park. That'll work.
All right. Park fund. So there is a transfer that comes from the general fund. Last year it was 405,000, so I just plugged that in again. This fund is also funded by 2 mills, and so you'll see that's 222,000 of the revenue is just from tax.
And that doesn't touch what we spend.
No.
No, sir. No, sir. So, and then here, again, just like the Railroad Museum in 2020, we pretty much slashed, quite a few of these revenues just due to COVID. So we saw an increase. Jason and his staff done a great job with those programs during COVID. So, and I would think his programs are gaining steam. So, so we've got concession revenues. Y'all have any questions about this stuff? Baseball. He changed the sponsorship rate. So you'll see that we budgeted 8,500 with increasing sponsorship fees. I mean, collected basically $10,000 more than that. So.
Okay.
Is there an increase in the equipment for the park? What I'm speaking in terms of down at Anvil, there's a certain amount of equipment that's actually needed in that park. So is that included? Is there an increase in equipment?
I can't understand. I couldn't understand. Can somebody repeat that? I couldn't understand that.
Yes, sir. His question was, does this budget reflect any increase in expenditures for equipment, specifically at Ansley Moore? They're in need of, are you saying like playground equipment?
Yes.
Playground equipment and things like that. That might be a better question for Jason when you guys meet with him. If there is, it'd probably be buried in one of these general obligation or one of these line items. But I don't see anything that's jumping out at me that says, yes, he increased for that.
Okay.
So we'd have to ask him. Let me go back up. You guys had any question about revenue? Do y'all want to increase
I
it?
do have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
Did we get any money from the pool being open anytime?
Yeah, I'm not seeing any reflected.
Because
Michelle,
I
if you
don't see
have any,
anything.
Yeah, it's probably buried in one of these other line items, and it just
It
needs.
wouldn't be much.
Yeah.
I understand, but I just wanted to see if it was reflected.
It didn't open till July, and this year
Okay.
is
for
Okay.
June.
Yeah. Okay. That's
Yeah.
good. Yeah, I see at the top. Great. Thank you.
Michelle, if you'll plug in a projected too, based on what we got in July too.
I'll
yes.
look and see what we got in July, and I'll put that in for the projected.
And remember too, I mean, the pool was open for not even 2 weeks. So
Right.
it'd probably be a few $100 if that.
Right.
All right. Tournaments. We had anticipated 45,000. We're projected about 18,000. Some of the tournaments were impacted by COVID. So we kept it pretty conservative moving forward for those revenues. The department itself, one thing when we get to payroll, Jason is requesting an additional, basically that assistant director position that was vacated when the former director left. You guys basically eliminated that position. And so he's wanting to reinstate that position if possible. That number is included in here.
Is that something we'll discuss now or when we discuss payroll?
Y'all could, I guess you could discuss without getting into specifics, you could discuss potentially removing it or keeping it.
We operated for so long without that position prior to, I don't see the need for it.
One of the things I noticed too was this. When we get further on down in here, he's got a lot of additional cost
The armory.
that he's associating to Fiducia Park.
Well, and the armory too, Gary.
Yeah. And I guess my question is this. I'm not really sure what all of these additional costs are. I guess maybe Jason can enlighten us on it. But what I was thinking is this. It looks like he's trying to outsource a bunch of this stuff. Would we be better off getting another full-time maintenance person or a full-time worker than outsourcing all of these things? Because I don't know. I was trying to add it up. It seemed like it was a lot of money.
You probably have a budget.
It'd probably be cheaper to outsource. Because if you think about 38,000 a year for spraying Fiducia, I mean, I guess if you're hiring an entry level maintenance position, maybe.
That's what I'm talking about.
Okay. I don't know if one more person would do it. You might need to add 2 more people. I don't know. That's 70 some acres out there.
Where are you gonna find them?
Yeah.
Spraying is not just Fiducia, it's all the parks, including Fiducia.
Yeah. The
Oh,
quality of our parks is a lot better
everything.
than it's been in years. And I think outsourcing has helped a little.
I thought that Fiducia is that 38 including Fiducia or Fiducia by itself?
It's spraying at the parks, all the parks, including Fiducia.
Well, when we talked about this last year, the whole reason for spraying was because it was supposed to save them money on grass cutting. But he's gone up on all the grass cutting costs. So that's what I didn't understand.
Because you've got more to cut, I guess.
Well,
It doesn't eliminate your cutting, but it got more.
I think we need Jason to get some of these things clear.
All right, so he's got total lawn care, an estimate for Fiducia Park, $37,800 to mow every 10 days, and another $9,000 to spray and fertilize it a couple times a year. So that's $46,000.
3
For
sprayings
Fiducia Park.
per year.
Ma'am?
It's 3 sprayings per year at the
Right.
park.
Because I thought it was cutting Fiducia too.
That's included in there, yes.
Yeah.
So you're right, 46.
46.
I see the 37. What am I? 38.
Well, the lawn care is broken out from the spraying.
Oh, there it is.
Right.
Right.
So yeah, I mean that's a good point though, because he's budgeted almost 50,000 to spray and cut Fiducia, but then we're also going up on seasonal to cut. Well, seasonal's the same. Seasonal's
Yeah. I know we're a little
Yeah, but-
baffled. Yeah, I agree with the mayor. We just gotta wait till Jason come in because I'm a little
Yeah.
concerned.
Well, but we need to identify all of these, highlight all of the areas of concern so that when we meet with him, we don't forget to ask him about these things.
Yeah, the Armory has about 8 acres to that is in deplorable. It's
You need
really
a bush,
bad off.
you need a bush hog out there.
We've had a bush hog, but it's so low and all, and we need to take some fences down. It's gonna be a expensive proposition bringing that up to real life.
Yeah, we need to release it out for deer hunting.
Good idea.
I saw a deer out there.
I bet you did.
The rest of his stuff is pretty flat until you get down to capital projects. So
Now that you're on that, in every department that we're going to get to in the general fund, there's an LED lighting project.
yes,
Okay. Those lighting projects that are put in here, is that net of the rebate?
yes, sir.
Yes.
Okay. I would say for the moment, have you included any of those in the bond proposal?
I don't think I have. Pull it over.
Well, I can tell you right now, you can pull every one of them out and move it to the bond proposal, and then we can figure out which ones we're going to do.
Okay.
Because the park fund can't stand it.
Oh no. So yeah, let's see. I do have 273,000.
That's what you got for your projects.
Yeah, for
That's
parts.
all of them.
So, that number, that 273, that came from Josh's park budget. So Josh kind of had his own separate one. So I've got some in there. But let me
That's
move on.
in addition to these?
I think there's some overlap.
There he is.
There's some overlap. All right, here we go. See these right here? So re-gravel, Fireman's Park tennis courts. Jason doesn't have the wading pool in his budget, but decorative fencing at Fireman's. He's got the armory on here, so he's actually got a little bit more on here. But so,
does it include all of Jason's?
No, it does not.
I didn't think it did.
So. I can move them.
He's got a couple of things that Jason doesn't have there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to take a look at this at the break. I don't want to double count anything. So let me just make myself a note.
Well, you can't, that stuff at the bottom you can't do.
Yeah. Okay. Zero turn mower.
Just leave those there till we talk to Jason.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did y'all want to remove that position or no? Or just wait till we talk to Jason?
Yeah, I mean, we got to figure out something to get this thing down to zero at least.
Take it out for now.
Well, while we're here, let's at least briefly talk about the comment Danny made earlier this morning about generating park revenue. Danny, you want to address it?
Go
Well,
ahead, Dan.
I really hadn't had a chance to discuss it as much with the gentleman, I believe, as y'all have, but you're talking about the gentleman from Jackson, Gary.
Yes.
He says he can come in here with private funding and help us. I have not checked any background on him or anything, but
Well, it
all
wasn't all private funding. He wanted a contract, didn't he, Mayor?
I don't recall the contract necessarily. It's just been so preliminary, the one meeting, and he wanted to meet this week, and obviously I put it off till next week.
All right.
I
Well,
think they have
but,
done some
I
work in
mean,
Brandon and other
yeah,
places.
I mean, for the benefit of the rest of the board, though, this guy is a private company that operates with all of these regional tournaments. And he do Oxford's work.
Yeah, I think he did.
He does city, and and when we met with Oxford 2 years ago or 3 years ago, out of 52 weeks that year, Oxford had tournaments like 33 of those weeks.
Yeah.
I mean, it was unreal, the revenue they were generating. And that has been our biggest shortfall in our park commission. We have been unable to generate revenue.
And only charging 2 meals, it really impacts the general fund so much.
Oh, it just kills us. I mean,
we've got to look, and it was such an infant stage of talking to the people and all. So I think it's definitely worth looking into.
Okay.
And Mayor, may I say something?
Sure.
For as long as I've been in Cleveland, and certainly on this board, we provide park services to everyone in this county to some extent, certainly outside the city limits, and even people that live in other counties use our parks. And, it just, it's a heavy burden that we bear, but the numbers speak for themselves. I don't know how we address that. It's always a challenge, but we're fortunate to have beautiful parks that are attractive to people all over.
Yeah, it adds a lot of quality of life for our young
Tremendous quality of life.
And I'm gonna tell you, so in light of all of the idle time that these kids are having now, our parks are becoming more vital to the well-being of these children.
I agree. But
So anyway, I want to go back to Danny's comment, and really, after we talked to Jason today, really consider addressing this issue with that Greer dude.
Okay.
Well, one thing that I will mention, I think he spoke more to y'all about the help on our tournaments. What he spoke to me about was private funding to help us pay for some of this stuff, to pay for this 75-acre work. Now, I didn't get into the tournament end of it, so I think it's multifaceted with what he wants to do or wants to talk to us about. So it's important. Let's do that.
Yeah, I agree, Danny. You'll be a part of that.
Thank you.
All right, we'll save our rest of the questions on the Park Commission when we talk to Jason. Dominique, you may need to allocate more time to him.
Okay. I think I got him at 45 minutes. But okay, I'll make a note.
That ought to work.
I think I have him and Josh kind of back to back too.
Okay, good.
All right. General fund. All right. So the general fund is a big one. So this houses most of our departments. So we've got our taxes here, and then we can take it line item by line item when it relates to these different ones. So privilege licenses.
I want to talk about general sales tax.
All right.
Can you pull up your summary of general sales tax?
Yes.
Y'all see how much our general sales tax are up for March and April? Of course, I don't know why February was down so much.
Right after the first of the year, they said they usually see a dip January and February and sales.
Yeah, but that was a decrease over the prior year, though.
What that ice
Oh,
week?
snow?
Yeah, we had the snow. We
Had
had,
snow.
February 13th through the 17th, we had the snow.
Oh, that's right. Okay,
We were all shut down, Gary.
I got you. And we made up for it in March and April.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, sir. And you're gonna make it up in this third and fourth quarter if everything continues.
Right, right.
It's gonna be a good year, everybody.
So I guess my question is, Dominique, why are our sales tax revenue only 3.6 million when, well, I guess that's right.
yeah, well, you got to take into account the transfer.
That's right.
Transfer
That's right.
back in.
That's right. You got your SRF money. You got $800,000 to add to that figure.
Yeah.
Okay. My apologies. All right. Under the administrative charge, shouldn't that have zeroed out because we added 100 from the other? We added 100 we took 100 away because of sanitation, but we added 100 to the sewer utility.
Yep, you're right.
All right. Slide on down.
Gary,
Yes,
I
sir.
think a good point to make here is, we were talking about tourism earlier and other things, is that our economy, to me, the two hotels have helped and all, but this is a retail-driven town.
No doubt about it.
And I think our strong help has come through our retail establishments being so good downtown.
Yeah, and I still think we got potential for more.
Oh,
You
I
know,
do too.
we could ever develop that shopping center over there by McDonald's,
Yeah.
and we could get another staple grocery store in here. I think we could increase our sales tax revenue, our sales by probably $30 million a year easily.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's a guy named Mark Woodard who owns that place over there where McDonald's is, and he's from Louisville, Mississippi. And I talked to him last week at length about trying to work with us to bring it back up to new life over there. It would be a big help.
And Mayor, you might, for the good of the group, the vacant property on Highway 61 North, south of Rosemary Road, hopefully in the next 12 months will be developed into very significant retail.
Yeah.
Which has the potential, one in particular, both of them generate a large amount of sales tax and tourism.
Yeah, I think all
and
three of
retail
those
sales.
lots have sold, as Kurt mentioned, and the one that bought two lots there are the people that bought out double quick, and they're going to put up quite a business there.
Big truck stop.
Yeah, and it's going to be very significant to the town, and it's going
That's
to help
right. That's
close
right.
the
Ad
gap
valorem
there.
and sales tax. And then hopefully there'll be a restaurant go up at the corner there.
Yeah.
I have a question, please. What is Oxford?
We lost you, Danny.
Lost you, Danny.
I can't. Sorry.
Try it
Try
again.
again.
You didn't pay your bill, Danny.
What is Oxford, and what is Oxford?
How much
What
is
is
their
their
sales tax?
Something about Oxford.
Their sales
tourism?
tax.
Tourism.
Well, their sales tax is about $1 million a month.
Tourism is what I'm asking.
I think it's, I don't know. I think it's.
Sorry.
What is your question, Danny? Is it tourism or sales tax?
Both of them are out the roof.
Tourism.
Okay.
Tourism.
Our tourism tax on a regular basis is increasing almost at double the rate of our sales tax. And that's been pretty,
What would what adding 1% would do to the,
you don't want to mess with it.
Act of the legislature.
Let me give you a quick lesson on our tourism tax. We have a 2% tourism tax that was passed by the state legislature over 25 years ago. We have one of the only tourism taxes in Mississippi that does not sunset.
We need
Okay.
to leave
What
it
I
alone.
mean is that all these other places that have tourism taxes, theirs will sunset at some point and they got to go back to state legislature. We don't have to.
I'm on, okay.
So we definitely don't
Thank
need to move that.
Thank
Yeah, we're in the driver's
Don't
seat
touch
there.
it. Thank you.
Okay, let's come on down. Starting to get into our expenditures. Tax collection fee, we just pay basically a portion based on our tax percentage that we send to the 4 funds that get tax millage. And we cover, it's a $45,000 fee that we pay the county to collect our taxes for. So this is the general funds portion.
That's the other funds coming back to the general fund.
Right here, the tax collection fee?
Yeah.
No, that's just what we pay the county to collect our taxes.
Oh, you're in expenses. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
then-
Yeah, we paid the county 45,000.
And then we transfer right now, the transfers from the general fund, 405,000 to park and 20,000 to cover the life insurance policy that we pay for our employees. That goes back into the health insurance fund. So this is supervision and finance. I've requested some interns instead of hiring a person. We had talked about like a receptionist or something last year, so I put in some intern positions in there. I think at $8.15 an hour would be 2 interns that could help answer the phones and make copies and do different things around City Hall. So you guys can definitely take those out, mess with those. And then our budget here is supervision and finance. It's pretty much City Hall. We carry workers' comp, which Heather's been doing a great job with that. Our premium will actually go down this year because she's been doing such a great job with managing workers' comp. Probably have one of the best.
So why is that number higher then?
Yeah, I need to move that down because we just got word that it was going to go down.
Yeah, I noticed in every department it was higher. Oh, that's nice.
So we're good there. And then the special legal services and legal services, that's also in this department. So will we contract for legal?
Okay, let me ask a question about legal services.
Yeah, I have some comments and questions.
Go back up to routine legal services. Okay, and I guess really for my sake, when I looked at that number, I had it highlighted because we budgeted 45 and we spent over 100. What? I guess I'm just trying to remember what caused all of that.
You guys have well, let's do this. Let me pull down the detail and send it to you. This is just time. I mean, time.
Would the Siemens have had a lot to do with it?
No, Siemens is.
Siemens is a separate category.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, Siemens is separate, but just more time spent. You've got pretty much right now between Katie working the commission meetings. This is the first time that we've had an attorney really super involved with the Heritage Commission, Planning Commission, contractor licensing. So she spends quite a bit of time on that. Y'all have had different things come up this year legally, between Head Start, different things like that.
I guess my question is, I don't have a problem when we have issues that come up, but generally legal issues are not reoccurring. Once you solve it, it should go away.
Sure.
So I guess my question is, should we think about that budget a little bit?
Yeah, can I make a comment, Gary?
You sure?
We held firm between 50 and 60,000 for routine legal for 10 years, it seemed like. I know 17, 18, 19 seemed to be there. We're above 100 now. And when you have no limit on time, then there's no limit on charge. And we at a point where we could almost hire a full-time lawyer for less than that. But I just think we need to have some controls on this so that if I call or Brian or whoever calls, we're going to be charged for that at the way we're doing business now. And I just think we've gone above where we should be in the routine. I looked at the special services, and we held that at around 20 to 24, because that was a bond fee, council about 16, and then there were 2,000 or 3,000 for local, and now we're at 45.
So can I ask a question?
So I just think we've got to pay all of our contract legal services in this city a set amount. And then if we have special events, special reasons, then we authorize that as a board and say, okay, what's it going to cost? And we get a good idea and we do that. Otherwise, we'll be at 150 next year. That's all I've got to say.
Brian?
I think I may have asked this before, but are we not on a contract with our legal counsel, or do they charge us by the hour, or what's our fee structure with them right now?
By the hour.
It's by the hour based on a fee schedule. So it's like a certain hourly rate for partner, paralegal, all of that down.
So if I call to ask a question, we're on the clock.
Yeah.
Yes. And
Well,
didn't we have a rate increase? Was it last year or year before? How long ago was that rate increase, Dominic?
Yeah.
2 years ago.
But I thought you guys declined it. Like you guys didn't accept it, because like if I look back in fiscal year 17, we budgeted 85,000. Fiscal year 18, we budgeted 70,000. Fiscal year 19, I mean, it's been cut down, is what I'm saying. I mean, 17, we were at 85.
What did we spend though?
We projected to spend 90 that year. Because the year before that, in 2016, y'all budgeted 65, and you projected to spend 90. And then you budgeted 85, and then in 18, you projected 28,000. So, I mean, it went up and down. So you guys have kind of fluctuated with the projection historically. Because he came with a request, I think that was 2 years ago, and you guys pushed back on it.
Yeah, but I think they reached an agreement. He did go up from what the rate was originally. Because he went to $200.
Gary, you can go ahead, Michelle.
For partners. And it was 175.
In 2020, you requested, the budget was 65,000. You guys cut it down 10,000 to make it 55,000 in 2020. And then back in 2021, you guys cut it down an additional 10,000 to 45.
What is the special fund? Special 553.
553, we code anything that's related to active litigation. So,
Keep plenty of that going.
Would that be the bond cost?
no, the
No.
the bond costs we charge to the bond.
It's in the bond
Okay.
fund.
All right.
Yes, that's separate.
Yeah. Well, one of the points Kirk made that I thought was interesting is why don't we talk to them about maybe some kind of fixed fee for routine legal services?
I was
And
just about to
then,
ask.
for special legal services, we'll just work with that line item on an as needed basis.
Yeah.
I was fixing to say the same thing, Gary.
And routine would cover all telephone calls, everything except litigation or special events. For instance, if you had an annexation case, or if you had a major easement acquisition, or redistricting, we would have a budget and we would know what to expect.
You
That's what
guys
I was
could-
gonna say, Gary, is that we do that.
You could treat it, it's basically kind of like engineering. Engineering, you guys set a not to exceed for routine engineering. And I think that's at 150. And
Yeah.
so Josh is cognizant of, you got to stay below 150. So we go to the bottom here, yeah, right here. And then any type of special fees or engineering, we typically budget for that in the bond. But this stuff is like, hey, y'all call and say, can y'all go look at this address?
That's right. Yeah, and everything else goes to the public improvement funds.
I think we
Okay.
need to get with it, Gary.
Yeah,
We'll do
Mayor,
that.
if we could, Mayor, let's maybe schedule a meeting with Danny and whoever else he wants in that meeting.
We'll do that.
And let's address this issue kind of on the terms and conditions we're talking about right now.
Yeah.
That we have a routine legal fee that's established. And if anything else comes up that's not routine, then it'll be on a case by case basis.
I think that's all good. I was gonna say the same thing, Gary. I might add, Josh does so much and he keeps it within that budget. I just know as a group, a lot of y'all wear Josh, Danny, whoever out. So a lot of this has been self-imposed,
Well, now,
but we will get a handle on it.
okay, the next thing that needs to happen in this case is this. Not one single one of us needs to call them and ask them to do something. Anything that the legal firm does for us needs to be a request to the mayor. So if I think there's something that we need to check into, I need to call Billy and say, Billy, do you want to check with our legal counsel on this?
I agree with that. I think that's one, an alderman cannot interfere with the activities of administering the city. So I agree with that.
I think we've had a lot of charges for that very reason, though.
You're very possible. Can we just, for the moment, at least cut that fee by 40,000? That'll leave them at $5,000 a month routine services.
Okay,
And then, like I said, we need to talk to Danny about that.
I agree.
So if it's nothing involving legal, just to talk off a routine basis, they still, if alderman, someone had a question, just that they still billing it, that we were still being billed.
I don't think there's any doubt about it. Would anybody feel any different?
No,
It just behooves me to see that, you may just have a question. Don't get me wrong. If anytime you are providing services, yeah, you should be paid. But if you just to talk to someone, shit, I talk your ears off, man. If you charge me for everything I talk to you about, man, shit, we won't have any money.
Yeah, but I feel
anyway,
like we're getting charged, wouldn't y'all?
Yeah, it's probably $20 a tenth of a minute. I mean, a tenth of an hour, I'm sorry.
At any rate, I think at least we've addressed it. And Dominic, if you want to put a note out beside that line item to discuss with
We'll have a talk with Danny and whoever he wants.
Okay, very good. All right, let's move on down this thing. We got a bunch of departments in this. It would be nice if we could finish the general fund before we break for lunch.
Should be able. All right. So, other general expenditures, this is kind of like our kind of gap department, if you will, kind of just covers a bunch of stuff that don't fit into one department, but kind of impacts the entire city. So I know Alderman Bishop brought up a service about being able to alert our customers and keep our customers abreast of a work order that's in service. So we talked to a company to actually work with our current work order system. So they're already a tag team. All we just need to do is tell them, let's do it. So it's really cool how it would work. If y'all are interested in having a demo done, I can arrange that, but it's really cool. We have IT, Keep Solutions provides that. That's $34,000 a year. They've kept that the same for the past few years, where they service all of our IT needs citywide.
Are you perfectly satisfied with them?
I am personally, yeah.
Okay. I mean, because well, I'm just saying, it's just like anything else. And, when it's being independently provided, there are always other people.
True. They come when we call, they fix it. So I haven't had any complaints. I need to discuss with them adding wastewater too. They already go out there and service Infomart, but I just need to make sure that I wonder if that's going to change the price. But I need to ask. Street lighting hits this department. You'll notice it's pretty big expenditure here in contracted services that involve the tree limb pickup. So we won't have that again next year, hopefully. And then our website. So this is all pretty straightforward. We have the Literacy Council, South Delta. All of this stuff is remaining pretty flat. We don't have an election coming up, so we gain that money back. So our budget is actually will go down a little bit in this department. And then this is the last year of our lease agreement for our citywide computer lease agreement. So we'll get new computers next year. I've had them for 3 years.
Terminate on our property. Demo, have that.
Okay. Very good. That department looks good.
We haven't gotten to that department yet. Alderman Campbell's question was about our demolition budget and community development. So I'll be sure to note that, Alderman Campbell, when we get to that department. Municipal court, pretty flat. Buster put in some raises here, but of course it's not included in this number. And then we've got our prosecuting attorney, judge. Those two amounts are remaining flat. We didn't receive any requests or anything like that for an increase. Jail fees, you put maybe added 5,000 more for that, just in case. But that number has gone down over the years. And you have questions? Public defender, 18,000. Questions about this one?
No, ma'am.
Did y'all want to keep that lighting?
Well, of course, have they determined what that's going to save us?
Yes, you should have some projections.
Yeah, it's in your packet.
It typically takes several years to recoup your costs, but it's worth it in the long run, Gary.
Yeah, I know. I did it in my office. It has been extremely beneficial.
We did it too.
And we've done it. We've done a few departments. We've probably done at least a half dozen. City Hall's done. We did the gym.
When we get to the end of the general fund, let's see what we look like.
Okay.
To see how many we can do.
Okay. All right, PD. So.
Okay, this is what I didn't understand here.
Okay.
We've been told repeatedly that we are 2 officers short. We've been 2 officers short for the majority of this year. How did we spend more money?
Overtime.
He's not showing that on his budget, though.
How did we spend more money? Are you talking about the projected column?
Yes.
Yeah. I mean,
we're coming in under budget.
Okay, I'm sorry, Dominique. I was looking at the wrong column.
Okay.
Yeah, we are.
And we never hit. We're not going to hit that 2.1 I mean, the PD always comes in under budget on this.
Yeah, you're
Yeah.
right. I'm sorry. I was looking at the wrong column.
Now note, this only includes 2 additional officers. I know there's been discussion about adding more than 2 officers in addition to the 2 we're short. So
Right,
And
right.
that's something that's gonna have to be looked at. Like Gary said, we've been short and we talked about adding some, so that's gonna be some changes in those numbers.
We could be 3 short.
Yeah.
yeah,
All right, and we added none for new cameras here.
no, not yet.
Okay.
Did y'all want to go ahead and add your potential officers so we can see the bottom line? Or
Yes.
no?
Yes.
Yeah, we
Yes.
need to. Yeah.
I can work on that. We can keep going.
Okay.
Michelle, if you'll add those, how many do you want to add?
Just add 2 more.
That's
All right. So we can keep going.
Now, did you add 2 new vehicles or 3 new vehicles?
Oh,
Yeah.
we've added 5.
He's down at the bottom.
Good.
Yeah.
5. Good. I see it.
All right, now time out right there. Go back to that number. All right. That's going to hammer us in terms of cost in this department.
Yeah.
Can we lease them or can we purchase them? I think we did it with a bank loan the last time.
You
We
did?
did. We
Okay.
did. We purchased 4 Durangos recently.
Yeah, and I think we need to do that again because $200,000 is going to kick us. So I mean, if you take $150,000 out of that budget and we financed them over 4 years,
Dominique, you've got 2 new patrolmen in the salary budget already.
Yeah, add 2 more.
2 more on top of that.
yeah, because he never filled those positions.
Right.
And when the police department met with him the other day, I mean the police committee, we asked him, could that make a difference? And he said, absolutely.
I thought with Paul going off the board, we may cool it on some of these vehicles.
They're in pretty rough shape, Mayor.
You better
They
look
look
at,
pretty good.
I don't know.
Even
Yeah.
some of our fleet is in bad. I mean, some of them don't have lights on them.
I mean, and what Chief will tell you too is this is the only department where they have these vehicles rolling 24/7.
All the time. They're
Okay.
always on the road.
You know, they're putting 80,000 miles a year on.
Gary, can we finance 5 vehicles with $50,000?
A year?
Yeah.
Sure.
Okay,
Yeah.
so you're going to take out 150 out of that, correct?
That's right.
Okay.
Yeah, she's already done that.
So you
Good.
see here our current lease payments.
Yeah, I got it.
This is
I
for
got it.
4.
Yeah, we did 4 of them, Danny, for $32,000 a year.
4. Okay, yeah.
So the 50 may be a little high, actually.
It might be. Yeah.
But
That's
now this
nine.
has to include the upfit too. I mean,
Right,
we've got to.
each vehicle needs $5,000 for upfit.
Per vehicle for upfit.
Yeah.
Per
That's, yeah,
vehicle.
you'll still have enough. You'll still be able to afford that in a lease.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good. Let's
Yeah.
leave it. Let's move on. Thank you. Sorry.
Right. You want to go back up? I don't think most of these are flat. It's kind of minimal increases just due to things going up. It went up on gas, but I mean, we budgeted 71. We're projected to, or we budgeted 72. We're projected to, hit 71.
Just take 10 out of it. Well, if you're
Yeah,
going,
go back to 80.
if we add officers, you're gonna need that extra 10.
Right.
That's true.
So you got to get them first. What I say if we're adding officers, what about the training budget?
Well, if we ain't using the training budget, it's kind of a moot point.
Well, we need to use the training budget.
Well, the thing about it though, with the training
Firemen
budget,
use it. Pays off.
The thing
State
about-
pays us back.
yes. So the training budget, really, we don't spend a whole lot out of pocket because they send us a check back anytime somebody goes to the academy.
State
We
pays.
need to talk to Buster tomorrow on those one-on-ones. We really, of all times ever, we need more training now.
Yes.
This is for certification, though. This is what this is. Is that correct?
Well, there's other trainings that we need, in my
Right,
opinion.
right.
Yeah.
Correct, correct.
For the most part, yes, we have to spend the money up front, but Buster tries to get instructors flown in or, brought in to teach certain classes. They do a lot of training online. We pay for a software that they have to get certain trainings sitting at their desk or a desk.
Well, that's not as effective as face-to-face training.
It
I
really
guarantee
is.
you, online
bring-
training.
Face-to-face gets you involved.
They do the virtual academy, but they also bring instructors in.
Yeah.
They do both face-to-face and the virtual academy.
They didn't bring many people in 2020, COVID and all of that.
Right.
But definitely a good question to ask.
So, I mean, is he planning on spending another $20,000 between now and September?
That's what he put in his budget. So
I
that's
mean,
a
but
question.
he's only got a month and a half, and he spent $8,000 all year, and he's going to spend $20,000 in 45 days.
No.
Impossible.
It ain't gonna happen. Anyway, we can leave 30 in there, but if we're gonna put money in the training budget, they need to spend it.
We need to use it
Yeah.
and use it.
I
Use it
think they
effectively,
probably
wisely.
didn't get to spend it this past year, but I think they normally do. But a lot of times he gets a lot of his money back. He gets reimbursed.
Okay, so do we have that in as a revenue item?
No,
No, it goes
net it
back to the line item.
Oh, y'all charge it right back to the line item.
Yes,
Yeah.
I got
yeah. Anybody that goes to the academy, he gets reimbursed.
you. Okay, but I mean, the kind of training that we're talking about is advanced training for existing officers.
I'm talking
Yeah.
about they get reimbursed for the
Yeah.
academy.
No.
Right.
But then they do advanced training as well. They do a lot of tactical training.
Okay.
I wouldn't say a lot at this point. I mean, because you look back at 2020,
This
I mean, we had
past year they didn't.
you just have to ask Buster.
They
Okay.
had started doing more until COVID.
All right.
All right, so we've got a LED lighting improvement project for the station. And then body cameras, this is year 4, I think of 5 that we have to pay on that. But again, there's nothing in here for installing more cameras, so this would be the time to discuss.
What did he tell us per camera with poles and everything? What did he tell us
About 2,500, wasn't it?
with pole?
I think the total, Danny, was about. We ended up with 20 cameras, and we spent about what, 50,000?
I thought it was 3,000 a camera.
Yeah, about 3,000.
Okay.
Yeah, but you've got all the data and all that involved with it. We spent a lot more than we thought we would. I'll tell you that.
Okay.
Yeah.
All
You
right,
want to put in 5 more cameras, Gary?
well, I mean, yeah.
Let's determine what we spent each on it.
Crime prevention.
Not only that, let's excuse me, please. May I say something?
Sure,
Let's
please go
talk
ahead.
about also what the capabilities of those cameras.
Those cameras are extremely sophisticated.
Because I don't think that there's sound activation or anything like that on them.
It's
So
facial recognition and car recognition, and they're recorded. Buster can tell us all tomorrow about it too.
Yeah, we did a demo with the company. I guess that was last year.
Yes.
And they showed us it's cloud-based. So Buster and his designee can get into it anytime to look at it. It's really cool. It's the latest technology.
yeah, but I've seen them, and I would love for us to do a better upgrade, maybe something dealing with sound on them,
No. Well,
if
I think
possible.
I think
once
he
we
told.
talk to Buster about it.
I think he told us originally no on the sound, but again, Buster will have to tell us.
Yes.
So if the 20 that are installed are complete, then
The 20 are not complete.
Looking at the
What-
cost, it's around 2,500.
2,500 a camera.
Right.
Okay.
Well, no.
Is that including the
thought he
poles
said
and
13.
painting?
Complete.
The
I
20
thought-
are not complete because we're waiting for MDOT to give us some permission for the
13.
ones that's on the highway.
I
They've
think it was
been-
just 13. Am I right, Gary? In the meeting, I think Bus said 13 of them.
Yeah, they're just trying to figure out the cost right now.
So
Right,
they've
I'm
25.
talking about the cost. I'm talking
So
about
they've all
cost
been-
completion.
So they've all been purchased. They just haven't all been set up. So
That's
we've
correct.
spent 41,000 through June just for
Well,
the cameras, and which includes
49,000.
C-Spot of 49.
Yeah, 49,000 counting labor and all for installation.
Yeah, it's the contracted services.
Right.
department.
So we could put 6 cameras for 15,000. Is that correct?
I think we need to firm it up, firm
Okay.
up those numbers. But yeah, we can go ahead and put a budget in.
Let's talk to him before we put a number
Okay.
down.
Yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
good.
Because it is going to cost a little bit more. We've got to involve the data if it would require another modem. I mean, C-Spire, we spent $12,000 just with C-Spire
Wow.
for these cameras. So, any other questions?
No.
Mm.
All right, fire.
Come down and look at the bottom. I don't think there was anything substantial here except that new
Flag.
vehicle purchase.
Probably want to move this to the bond, you think, or
Yes.
Well, I mean, don't we already have money there for it?
200,000?
We got 200,000 plus, yeah, but the balance of it we'll put in the bond.
Yeah. Fire truck. So yeah, we put 489,000 right now in the bond.
Okay, that's fine.
Brian, why the flag maintenance? I thought that the organization is not doing that. What is that about?
The
Exchange Club.
Change Club, they bought the pole, they erected it, and they bought, Danny, I don't know, 10 or 12 flags.
Right.
And then Bob Williford was working on that, and they were taking the flags down very regularly and trying to mend them, and it had gotten to the point where it was getting to be too much for, I guess, for the Exchange Club to keep up with that. So they've asked the fire department to kind of take over management of that since it's right there on the property. They of course foot the bill for the pole, but I don't know that that's an accurate number. It's they've increased it with $10,000. Those flags are $1,500 a piece, and they last 3 or 4 months.
3 or 4 months.
Well, you got to realize how big that flag is. If you got to stand under it, it's like especially when the wind's blowing, the end of it whips really hard, and it tears the end of the flags. Like we here at the bank, our smaller flags last 6 months, and you're talking about a flag that's 130 feet in the air.
Wow.
Speaking of that, Cleveland State Bank gave us the clock. Are they maintaining that clock, or are we maintaining that clock?
We are not.
No,
The bank is not.
we are.
Okay.
And we have to get somebody from, I forgot where, to come do the work. It's,
All right.
but we appreciate it, Brian.
Oh
Hey,
yeah.
Dominique,
Yes, sir.
on all of these departments, highlight the LED project. Because it's starting to become a substantial number.
Yes.
Robinson Electric likes it.
Yeah, I know. Well, I mean, but we may not can do every one of them.
Yeah, we cut all of them out last year.
Yeah, I know we did, but maybe we do.
Maybe we do.
Maybe we do half of the departments this time.
Right.
I mean, because some of these things are $30,000.
All right, y'all good with fire? Y'all want to drop down to community development?
Yeah, if you take the street lighting out of that, I mean that LED lighting,
Mhm.
I'm trying to look at the budget. Their budget is $56,000 more than it was last year. And 17 of it is that extractor.
Yeah.
And
That's
then
12.
another 30,000 is the LED lighting.
Yeah, so 12 plus 30.
Yeah, I was just trying to, so that's 46,000. Okay, it's not that bad a deal. All right, go ahead on.
All right, community development. Got
Okay,
salary.
does this wage number include replacing the director?
It has the director position in there.
Okay, you
yes.
answered my question then. Okay.
Yes. Um,
Mayor, can we talk about that in executive session when we talk about HR?
Yes, we can.
Okay.
all right. So Alderman Campbell had a question about our demo budget. So Michelle, look and see what we've spent today, but 17 through June of a $50,000 budget, and we've got 65. That's level from last year because you guys bumped it up last year, anticipating Shamrock and different things. So
Well, we got Shamrock coming up.
it's going to cost more than 65.
Oh, I know it is, but you know, because we decided to take up the foundation as well.
Yeah.
So how much was that total budget? You remember? Was it
Oh.
45,000?
I got to look it back up. I have it.
All right, if you will, maybe by this afternoon, figure out.
Yeah, Shamrock. Make a note. Landfill fees. I mean, they're before the former director left, he didn't put in a budget, so we just kept it level.
Okay.
So we did put that. He did give me the lighting a while back, and then the vehicle. I think Billy. They hired a new employee, so they put a vehicle in there.
They have an extra. They have an extra employee, or
No, they just.
they
Michelle,
replace
no,
a position, or they hired a new person. They create another position.
I'm gonna have to look at that. Michelle, do you have context for this note needed for new employee?
That's all it said was that it was needed for new employees. They
We'll have to
hired
ask.
two,
Man, we need to talk about that.
they hired 2 employees. So one would have been a replacement. Let me look at their.
So they were down an employee for over like a year, and so they just finally replaced that person. But now they're
2.
Yes.
Because when I met them, it was 2 gentlemen.
Yeah, they just hired a property inspector and a building inspector, but they had been down. They didn't add a new employee.
Okay.
That vehicle could be a lease too if we go there.
Yeah.
All right, cemetery. They really just put in here their price has gone up on different supplies and different things. They went up a little bit. I mean, like $5 here.
Yeah, we're not doing any LED lighting at the cemetery.
Nope.
They do have a mower with a mulching kit. They did put that in there. So.
And I know it's going to be a question for them, but they only got one quote for that.
State contract.
It is on contract.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
We also need to consider buying more space for the cemetery, though. We're definitely filling up.
You know, one thing I'll say too, if you go to some of these other cities, and I'm not going to mention any names because I know we're on YouTube, our cemeteries are very respectful. I mean, they're in really good shape, and some of these other cemeteries look horrible.
I agree. And I think Ted said about running out of space on Mullen Road.
Yes.
And I'm dealing with some landowners around there now asking to consider trying to sell us some land so we can get some more plots out there.
Good.
All right, any issues on the cemetery? Let's move on to the airport.
Right, airport, not really much here. He's budgeted a little bit more. They've got to replace these pappy bulbs on the taxiway. Clint would be able to explain that much better than I can, but apparently it's pretty expensive. And then it's looking like he's wanting to replace the conference room floor and in the terminal building there. And then he's got a runway sweeper and a truck. So
Again, all these trucks, are we going to put them on, try to put them on lease on all these different departments?
I would think so.
Yes.
All right, so community development was asking for 22,000 for a Dodge. He's asking 41 for a Ford. What's the
A
difference?
4-wheel drive.
Okay.
yeah,
He needs it. Sorry, go ahead.
go ahead, Michelle. Go ahead.
He said he needs a 4-wheel drive because they go out on the runway and go out there in the field and stuff. And in a regular truck, they frequently get stuck and have to pull each other out. So they need a 4-wheel drive out there.
Is all that at contract price as well?
It's
There
not.
was,
These are just estimates.
These are two.
Yeah.
This number is based on 2 quotes. We push back on it and say, hey, can you get something on state contract price? And for what he's wanting, there wasn't a state contract that was available for this type of vehicle. So
right.
he just got 2 quotes.
Yeah. Well, let's still put them all on lease. Get this
I agree.
Sorry?
I agree.
Okay.
Yeah, just go on and whatever. I mean,
Yeah, that's fine.
just take 30,000. Oh, okay, that's
That's
fine.
fine.
We got to do it back in that last account too, the last 2 counts.
That's a,
In funds, I should say.
okay. Okay, so groundskeeper. Really not much here outside city beautification. It's requested an increase of 5,000. They wanted me to share, to remind you guys that Ms. Dunlap is paid out of this line item, which impacts their budget. So that's why they're requesting that increase.
I think we need to do that.
Yes, I agree.
All right, street
I
department.
have a question, please.
Okay.
City beautification, I'm not familiar with it. So what exactly do they do, please? If you don't mind informing me.
Everything, all the flower beds and around City Hall and all up and down the walkway and by the train museum.
Okay.
The hanging baskets.
Hanging basket, yeah.
All volunteer work, all volunteer.
This mulch is just for, outside of Ms. Dunlap, this money is for the supplies and mulch.
Fine. That's what I was thinking.
flowers,
That's what I was
bulbs.
thinking.
Yes, ma'am.
That's what I was thinking. That's what I was thinking. Thank you.
All right, street department. Mayor, we put in from long range planning committee, if you wanted to discuss that. 50,000.
Okay, that was on the by the old Clark Jewelry there. Is that what we're talking about, Dominique?
The Bayou, like Ned Mitchell.
Oh, yeah, that was some money that was put in there last year for the beautification of the bio and was not spent. And I guess they were just trying to reallocate it and get with Josh and see what
Are
can be
we,
done.
are we really beautifying it or just cleaning it up?
And what areas of the bayou?
The area that they had in mind is probably from, I'm gonna say Sunflower Road to, Shelby Street. Is that Shelby
And
Street?
it's gonna take $50,000 to do that?
That's what we put there last year. I think this is just something the committee came up with because they had it in there.
I
last
mean,
year.
you know, to be honest with you, if you go all the way to the North Cleveland Cemetery, that bio needs to be cleaned up from
Right.
there all the way to you can see it in, you know, as it goes through Cleveland.
From
And
Rosemary.
I think maybe for 50,000, you could probably clean it up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
And
mean, it needs to be dredged out. It would even help our drainage some.
I know it's been years since it has
Well-
been dredged out too.
You know, and we
Not
need,
just there, at some point, we'll need to talk about, and I don't know that the county's gonna be able to help with this, but to get the bayou cleaned out further south of town. Because I
Brian?
think there's several beaver dams around there talking about drainage.
Yeah. We did
Brian, we offered them about 4 years ago.
$50,000.
We offered them, I thought it was 75.
Well, maybe so.
We offered them a chunk of change to clean up the bio south of Cleveland to help it drain, and they wouldn't even accept the money.
Turned it down.
We need to talk about it again.
Who was that mayor that Ned has met with? Are they from Mississippi State?
It was the
or-
Mississippi State people that came and
Right.
Can
And
we,
they were telling him what kind of plantings to put on the side to keep it from like getting back like it is and all this kind of stuff. So he's put a lot
Right.
of work into it to keep it, to figure out how to clean it and keep it from getting back in the shape that it's in.
yeah. I'm not sure because this came up in our last long range planning committee that we're not trying to emphasize the arcade. And it may be something that we just gonna have to put off for a year. I think, as some of y'all think, if we spend the money cleaning out down north of us, as far south as we could go, any kind of dredging or anything, we would probably be money well spent. And I think that would be a Josh question tomorrow that we could.
and that's what I was going to suggest, Mayor, is that we put out beside that to talk to Josh.
Okay.
Everything else is pretty, I mean, minimal. They're putting price increases, but I mean, they're literally less than $1,000 or $2,000. Every year, you know, they typically ask for more trimmers, blowers, and the things that they go through and break pretty easily, I guess.
Those things wear out.
Yeah. And then this is interesting. This is a slope mower. I don't know if y'all saw the quotes in there. This is actually on state contract price. This is kind of like a Roomba, right, for grass. So it's like a robot that is able to cut into these ditches, grass. And so they put some information in your packet.
Yeah, I saw that. You know, if we can do that bio cleaning project, and they can go in there and re-slope that bio with less grade to it, it will also help cleaning it up. It'll help this mowing situation out.
Yeah. I think that's progressive of them thinking of that though, because that's something that we've needed a long time. I know if y'all go out to Bearpin Park much, you see how often those ditches grass back up and get weeds and really look bad.
Okay. All right, let's
This
go to the
will-
shop.
Shop,
So
they
you
don't have
removing
it.
that slope mower?
Do what, Brian?
Are we removing that slope mower?
We're going to talk about it when we meet with them, with
Okay.
the department head.
We can't bond it. So
Right. That's what I said. We
We
talked to the
can,
department.
which is a good thought.
well, I think we can't bond.
No, we can't.
Oh, I
Cannot.
thought we could.
No, we cannot.
No, it's not.
It's got a
not
10-year
heavy
life,
enough.
doesn't it?
Yeah.
The life's not long enough, probably.
Yeah, it's not heavy enough, and it doesn't have the life because you got to have even
Okay.
for because you can't bond like mowers. So
Okay.
it's a more expensive mower. I think it's probably a 7-year life.
Okay.
Yeah. Shop is really nothing.
Okay.
Questions about shop. They're gonna get a diagnostic computer. They can use that in the shop.
Okay.
And then on-call engineering, y'all cut it down to 125 last year. And he's asked for 150 again. And then mosquito control. So we have not bid this out. We could. I requested that they just provide us a proposal to increase their contract. I think this would not increase it, but extend it for an additional 4 years. It's in your packet. And so it would go up, what is that? Like 23,000? 23,000 if y'all wanted to stay along with them, or if you wanted us to rebid it out.
It's not many of those people left. I think this year they've done particularly a good job.
6% increase. Is that what they're asking for?
5.
Yeah,
Yeah.
5.
5. Yeah, I'm with Billy. I think we stay where we are. There's not very many people that we could get them to do that kind of job.
It's good to have them in your back when you can see somebody face to face and tell them what they are or they are not doing.
Yeah,
it really helps.
Can we lock them in for a longer period of time than just 4 years?
Can't lock them in past your term.
Okay.
So it's 4-year term. So at the beginning of the next term, we could lock them in again. But we could also do you could technically do 4 years with a 1-year option each year. But I just say just do it 4 and then look at it.
I think that's pretty.
I agree.
All right.
So the bottom line.
So we need to figure out. So what is tell me what our schedule looks like this afternoon.
So we have 2 potential schedules. We could start the department heads today, stay on Zoom. We could start Josh at 1:15 and we could end by 5 today.
No, I mean, if you got Josh at 1:15, you got people lined up behind him.
Yes.
Okay. The only reason I'm saying is this, we got 2 or 3 major things we got to do. Number one, we got to figure out how to eliminate this $748,000 deficit. Because the last thing we want to do is cut into all our cash reserves. Then number 2, we got to go back and look at our bond schedule. We got to determine which one of those we're going to do. And then we can also look at that new fund that we have to see if it can fix any of our bond issues. Where we have bond issues that are related to water and sewer. So I guess what I'm saying is, can we leave time in our schedule before we start talking with department heads to cover those items?
Yeah, I mean, if we met back, well, I could push them.
Well, if you don't do them today, what does tomorrow look like?
This schedule here.
Okay, so if we started at 8 o'clock again, we would have the first hour to address these issues.
Right.
Yeah, and you'd have all afternoon today.
Oh, okay. I thought
No.
See what I mean? So I mean, this is.
No, you got this group coming in at 4 o'clock.
Yeah, but you'd have from 1 to 4. Today.
Airport group coming in at 4.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're saying we have from 1 to 4, not if we put Josh and all them in there.
No, but if you didn't do Josh or any of the department heads today, you could do them all tomorrow. Okay. So that means that you would have from 1 to 4 o'clock today.
And we could probably move that meeting at 4 back, some. It does crank. We have an airport meeting at 4:30, and we're gonna try to do it in 30 minutes. I'm gonna be at the airport. So that
let's do it today at 4, Kirk. Let's go.
That's fine. We're gonna do it at 4. It's all set. No problem.
If you just move Greg Jackson to tomorrow morning at 8 o'clock.
8:30.
Or 8:30.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we'd have time to talk between 8 and
And
8:30.
then between 2:30, but then between we get through with Buster and we meet with the airport people, we got time to come back to these numbers.
Hey, Dominique,
I
why
know,
don't you check with Greg and see, because, you know, he starts that conference tomorrow.
right. I was gonna say, maybe we could switch out Greg and Buster. Would y'all mind
That's
doing
fine.
Buster?
You know,
and
you do them the way
Okay.
you want to.
Yeah.
Okay.
Are
That way,
these
'cause
gonna be in
Greg will-
person?
No,
No.
just keep it on Zoom if y'all are good with that.
Okay.
All right, so what time do y'all want Josh to come? We could do him at 2 or 1:30.
Gary?
Josh could be our longest conversation.
One,
Yeah, I'm gonna have to
Okay.
push Greg back to 3.
1 o'clock with Josh.
Yeah, 3:30. Yeah, we don't need more than 30 minutes with Greg. That's a fact.
And then 4. Let me play with these times, because I mean, y'all don't need an hour and a half with Jason.
No.
I need some time with Jason though.
Let's meet with Josh at 1:15, meet with Jason at 2, and then if Greg comes at 3:30, we're gonna have time between 2 and 3:30 because Jason ain't gonna be more than 20 minutes.
No.
I know earlier y'all wanted to have more time with him because of all the
Yes.
projects and stuff too. So
I mean, if he takes 30 minutes, that's okay. It
Yeah.
still gives us an extra hour.
we maybe could do airport at 3:30.
No,
Or
put
keep it at 4.
Greg at 3:30. And you got the airport group they're coming at 4.
Okay.
And so you're gonna have to move Buster to in the morning.
Josh is gonna take some time. Him at 3.
And I mean, if we have to, if we have to, we may have to spend a little bit more time tomorrow.
All right, I'll send this out.
Well, we've covered a lot of ground, thanks to y'all.
May I ask a question if you can hear me okay?
Go ahead.
As we increase the sanitation, does that automatically increase the mosquito control, or do we need to address that? We had an increase in our budget. What is
Mosquito control is in the general fund.
okay?
And if you look at, there's an income item in the general fund that offsets it.
Yeah,
Well,
it would not.
I hear your question though, Danny.
Okay.
I understand what you're saying.
Okay.
So his question is do we need to increase our mosquito control rate to account for that 5% increase?
Certainly. That's the question. I'm sorry.
Yeah, we maybe should. I mean, our mosquito controls, we don't recoup what we pay out. I'll say that. So,
Right. That's right. We never
it says
have.
$7 per person right now, or per water bill.
How many water bills do we have?
3,600.
Okay.
And again, so that's another, if we decide on this 5% increase, that's another public notice that we need to do to the,
Well, only if we increase the,
that's it, if we increase that.
I think we ought to increase it, what, $1, Gary?
I mean, $1 is going to put you real close.
Yeah.
It covers that increase.
Let's consider that, please.
43, yeah.
All right. So I gotta look. I don't know how many mosquito customers we have. That's a good question.
3,600. What they
You got
said.
a mosquito customer for every water meter.
Lot of customers.
3,600.
Well, we've got, yeah, but we don't charge mosquito for everybody, because we don't charge mosquito for
Apartment.
yeah. So, but let me
Yeah,
look
but-
at the number of customers. I can pull that down pretty quick and then do that times $1.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. Thank you for reminding us, Danny.
Yes, sir. And only thing else I had in community development, please go back and change that Dodge Ram to a $5,000 a year versus a purchase, or $4,000 a year.
lease.
lease.
I thought she did.
We did in cemetery, but I didn't think we did
Yeah, she
in.
did. She went back.
Okay, good. Thank you. Thank
Yeah. She's quick.
All
There you
right.
go. You are.
Today, all right, I'll change the schedule around, resend it out, let the department heads know. And I guess really, we have the payroll schedule. Let me stop share.
Yeah.
Payroll schedule. That's really in the tax schedule. I don't know if y'all want to review that, but other than that, I mean, and the bond schedule, but Josh will answer a lot of those questions.
Okay. All right, Michelle and Dominic, y'all have done a great job.
Sure have.
We will resume at 1:15, and we'll just try to work in the things we've missed in between these interviews. Y'all good?
Good.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Thank you.
Till
y'all.
1:15.